Mine was phenomenal until I try and start my week here.
Rainbows and sunshine, Steve. Rainbows and sunshine.
Well, we do have rainbows and sunshine here in Florida. That's just number one. So every day is absolutely spectacularly beautiful to wake up to, and I'm very, very, very grateful for that. But I'm also very grateful because when Jeff and I first joined Rovi, the very first open home that we did was with Kirk and Stacy Weingarten for one of their homes, and a gal came through and liked us and said, I really want to work with you guys. And that was, my goodness, now over a year and a half ago. And she popped up on Friday and said, Linda, I'm ready to buy. Let's go. My husband has retired. I'm down here. I have 3 days and let's go. So we had taken her out over, I think about 8 or 9 months ago and did a lot of touring. So she knew what she wanted. We're very clear on it. And she said at the time, the timing is just not quite right. And then she called, boom. And I honestly, at this point, we had, sent out some cards to her and things like that for holidays and all of that. But wasn't sure if anything was ever going to happen. So that was a very, very lovely treat. And, they're looking for a home in the $800,000 range. And quite honestly, that doesn't stink. So that's lovely.
That is lovely. It actually tees right into the social share that I had for you guys today, which I'll hold off in case anybody else has got some shares from the weekend. But the general thing about this business is you just have no idea when, where, how, why the interactions that you are having right now could affect you in the future. And I think that's maybe even a microcosm of what happens in our lives, right? And just to doing the right thing is always the right thing, having interactions, treating people the right way, seeing what everybody has for a gift that you might be able to utilize in your life, learn from them, partner with them. Who knows? So yeah, I love when stuff like that works out, and it frustrates the heck out of me when we have newer agents that don't want to drive a little extra, don't want to take the lower priced new lead, don't want to do the open houses. That's the business. So, anybody else want to just share something for the weekend before I get into what I had teed up for you guys today? Only Linda had a great weekend. Oh, Martin, what do you got?
So I've been working with the show for about 6 months. We've put in about, I'd say, at least 5 offers in, and we finally got one approved over the weekend. And we're going under contract shortly.
So let's talk about the five. Who is getting, would you say, more frustrated, the client or you? And how did you finally get one accepted?
It was both, and we've always been. Our biggest frustration was we were always the first ones in, and we always got beat out by just maybe $1,000 here and there. And then finally, he got frustrated about 2 weeks ago. He goes, well, what happens if I just put cash down? I'm like, well, maybe you should have done this like 5 months ago. And we could have gotten something done sooner. And that's basically what happened was we were $5,000 less than the other offer, and because we were cash when he closed in 3 weeks, we did it.
So let me put you on the spot. Is this something that you don't think you did enough interrogation, question asking up front, that this guy even had a cash option available, or what happened?
We discussed it. He really didn't want to use it. That was his whole thing. That was, I don't want to use it. I don't want to blah 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 blah. And finally, he bit the bullet and he decided to come
Well,
out with
and
it.
what's the concern? Because from my perspective, I mean, you can always go and get the finance after, right? So it's not like this cash is going to be tied up forever. So what was the concern?
Honestly, some of his mentality I didn't get, but he's an older gentleman, second home, just honestly a little bit cheap. That's all.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. There's a few we could have gone up a little bit. He just refused to. Whatever price he had set in his mind, that's what it was going to be.
No, I think this is just a good lesson for everybody. Like, if somebody has access to cash, you need to know that. And in my mind, the cash is only going to be tied up for a short period of time, right? So we're going to pay cash and then we're just going to go get a mortgage later, right? So having them talk to the lender, make sure, yep, you'll be able to get the mortgage, no problem. Making sure they're, all the way to, fully underwritten, subject to an appraisal, so that they're very confident that they could go and get this mortgage post buying that house. Chris.
I'm struggling at the moment with what Martin just said about coming in first with those offers. I am finding that there are a lot of agents, and I've already prayed and meditated this morning, so I'll use my words kindly, that are playing less than ideal in the sandbox. So when, say, Martin's like, yeah, baby, my guy wants this, I'm coming in, I'm coming fully loaded. They're using that, which I'm not saying right, wrong, or indifferent, but to like actively search out and say, hey, I got one up to 540, blah, blah, blah. I had an agent call me last night that said, hey, I have a cash 630. If you can get your conventional to 660, it would make the difference of him waiting for that extra $30,000. I said to the agent, hey, I got one for you. When it doesn't appraise at 660 and you and I have just walked the walk, then what? You going back to the 630 and screwing my people? Like, come on.
So, Martin, is that kind of how you're feeling, or is that, because
That's exactly what it was. This home that we got under contract was our second time we attempted on it. The first time was overpriced, and we basically are buying it for 5,000 less than they have it now. But it's like it was originally, let's say it was 340, now it's 325. And we came in at 315 the first time, which is, where it should have been anyway. And then we finally, I guess the seller part finally woke up. But as far as the other offers, yeah, it was like, oh, somebody came in last. It was me and one other offer in the previous one, and then they decided to convert to cash versus conventional. And I think that's kind of what woke him up, is like, yeah, they had conventional, but they changed to cash. That's why they want it. So he decided this time that, our original offer for this home was conventional. They got another offer, and he says that we're just going to come in cash. I'm like, all right, good.
I wish it was, give me your best, 1, 2, 3, go. And it's in a freaking file, and everybody's putting their best foot forward, because even though we can say we're not supposed to say what we got, there's not one out there that.
Oh, I think Chris ended her call. But the reality is, oh, there you are, Chris.
Well, I'm just saying, it's not, they're just being used. They're being used to go higher and higher. And I don't think people are really thinking it through as to all the other things that play a part. That's all. And that's why, do you know, the other day I saw 26 back on markets on Thursday. I nearly died. That was all of Hampden County.
26 BOMs.
Yeah,
Wow.
It was Thursday or Wednesday, one of the 2 days, because I wanted to know, because people want these fire engine, gotta have, bring it, bring on the fear, and that's not how I'm letting my people roll. I'm letting my people roll as breathe, calm, what's meant to be will be. Let's do our best, just like everybody else. And when you're doing these firecracker ones, they're coming back on market.
Yeah, but I do want to be very clear with what I think is the best strategy, which I don't think you can wait. Because if you see something that you want, I think you got to go and get it, because here's the devil's advocate of it. If you wait, all of a sudden, yep, we're holding we're not making a decision until Sunday at noon. It's Thursday at 4, and all of a sudden on Friday you get notified, or maybe you don't even get notified till Sunday, they accepted something. So somebody got in there, somebody was aggressive, somebody said, "Hey, this offer's not going to be around on Sunday," whatever the case might be, and they got that offer accepted. So we do have to be careful. I don't think you can just wait till deadlines. I think you got to get your offers in and you got to start the process. So I don't know if you want to give your 2 cents on that, Chris or Martin, or based on your
I'd rather be
experience,
the
but
last one in because I rather get the few that we were like not the first ones in, but like say the last one is in, like on two of them, we were the closest. Because I feel like when you're the first ones in, you're the guinea pig. You're the one. You're setting the bar, and then everybody has to beat the bar.
There's a fine line, Steve. It's such a fine line right now. It's not like it's ever been. Listen, there was an entry only last week and it's already under agreement, so I'll even let this fly. I don't give a shit. There was a entry only last week. I go and show it to these people. They absolutely love it. I go to send a text to the owner. The owner comes up that I've had a thread with this gentleman before, and he is an appraiser. He's not the owner. So the owner is another owner, but apparently they are friendly in a way. So the two of them. So apparently he's part owner with this guy. But anyways, I say, "Hey, is this McGee?" We'll just call him McGee. Like, "Hello, is this McGee?" And it's, "Hey, Chris, it is McGee." Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, "Oh, you're part owner?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, I'm going to go in and show it." I go in and show it. It's in Springfield. I come in hot, hard, way over, eating this, eating that, not doing this, not doing that. I say, it's before Easter. It's the Thursday before Easter. I say, let's shut it down. Let's get it happen. Let's make it happen. You're an appraiser. You know this is a win-win, blah, blah, blah. That MF dragged me on until Tuesday afternoon. Tuesday afternoon, he says to me, "Oh, Chris, I can't believe how hard it is for you realtors. Like, I get it. I get it." And I go, "You think you get it now? Wait till that gets appraised." And the appraiser asks you why you put it on for $299.9 and you're selling for 300 for $399.9. Like, wait until that happens because we get that all the time. Don't you know? I see he goes in yesterday to Zillow and changes it to 389.9 after he accepted it. Like,
yeah, yeah. I mean, so this is the problem with with being aggressive up front. I don't know, Steve. I want to get your take. I don't think you can wait. I'm not a fan of waiting. I want to get in there and I want to show you that you want to do business with me. Go ahead, Steve.
So I had a busy weekend. I got my first listing agreement. I put in 3 offers, didn't get one. But last night, I've been talking to this listing agent all day. No other offers were in at the time. My buyers are FHA. We've always been close, to the max budget, so we don't have any wiggle room. We find this property. We have some wiggle room. We can go over asking. We put in a strong offer, five grand over asking. And they're like, "Listen, a 30-day closing would be amazing. That's what would get this done. They need to get out. They're closing on another property." So I'm like, "This is great. Thanks for letting me know." Having all the right conversations, feeling good, submit the offer. And then at like 10 o'clock at night, he emails me. He's like, "Oh, we got another offer and we're going to do a highest and best now." So it was almost like a done deal, type thing. Trying to get in there first, like Martin said, we get in there first. We're feeling good. We're giving them, like, we're not messing around. We're not going to try to come in right at ask. We're going to give them a strong offer, 5K over. Like, let's get this done. We put in all the terms they want, and then, you know, the games start playing because they're like, "Wait, what if we get more? Let's extend." And I'm like, "Well, I thought you guys needed to close in 30 days. Now you're extending 2 days for offers. Then you got to review them. Like, we're not going to get this done by June 2nd now. Like, there's just no way. You're delaying it almost a half a week." So it's definitely competitive right now, especially, for people that are pricing themselves out. They're looking at properties at 300 and that's their max. But I'm learning that a lot of listing agents are definitely, they're going to tell you one thing, and like Chris said, and then all of a sudden it's the, the money game. I guess it's just part of the business, and my buyers are getting discouraged, but you know, I don't. I know what it's like. It's really tough for buyers right now. It's always a dozen people going at the same property, so it's just a matter of finding the right one that fits. And I believe everything happens for a reason. And my first deal was like that. You know, we kept losing, and then we found the one, and it's definitely the best one they found overall. So it was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, I would say that for the most part, that's how that tended to play out for me. When I was heavy into production, when we would lose, I swear 99.9% of the time, we end up getting something down the road that was a better fit for them. Anybody else want to just chime in on this, you know,
I just
offers and
want to say, Steven, I don't play that way, my friend. You come see me. I got 5 coming on in the next 2 weeks, honey.
bring those offers. Linda, your hand's up. What do you got?
Well, I just wanted to circle all the way back to Martin's very initial comment, which, if I understood him correctly, was with people who are um, just coming onto looking at homes, and how frustrating it is because they really don't understand the market, and they don't know, they don't really take your advice and how to structure their offers. And I think that it has been my experience that at the end of the day, the real process is that they have to lose a few before they really accept how the game is being played at this moment in time. We can tell them, we can advise them, we can give them, all of the scenarios that they can expect, that this is the way it is. But it has been my experience that they take it all in, and then they make an offer that there's no way is going to be accepted for a brand new listing in a competitive market. And it stings and it hurts, and they want to be very upset about it. And then the next one, they get a little bit better with their willingness to make better terms. But typically it takes at least 2 that they lose before all of a sudden the light bulb goes off and they really accept, okay, this is what we're going to have to do if we really, really want to get a home.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
would.
unfortunate, but that's the way that's been my experience.
Yeah, I don't think it's just your experience, right? I definitely think this is the way it is, and I wouldn't even just say it's buyers, for real estate transaction. I think this is kind of like life. I mean, we've all read the stories, you read the wisdom until it happens to you, until you like learn those hard life lessons. It just doesn't seem to register the same way. You read, you've got to have great culture in your business. As well, what does great culture mean? Like we got performers. You can't have everybody just being great, great, great. That's something that I've been told the whole time. And until you have a couple of things that, maybe affect your culture, you don't really understand how important that is, right? Or surround yourself with great people. What does that really mean? Until you really start to do these things, and you can read it in a book, you can watch it in a seminar, until you experience it. And I think it's no different for these people making these offers. That's great that we tell them. You can even say, hey, my last 3 buyers, this is what happened, right? I see it with real estate agents. Right? They build their business, they get off to a great start, and it's almost like I feel like there's that kind of sophomore slump, if you will, where it's like you have a great first year, you do a bunch of deals, you went through your database, you called everybody, you think you've got it figured out, and now it's like, okay, I went through everybody, I've talked to everybody, now who's going to buy a house or sell one? So it's just human nature, it seems like, for all of these different little things. You've got to learn the lessons the hard way for some of this stuff. And maybe some of us can learn the hard lessons a little bit quicker. But man, it does seem like you got to learn the hard lessons the hard way. So, anybody else?
Truer words have never been spoken, Linda. I'm actually working on with the buy. I have the buy side. There's the selling side, and they have the reverse where their seller just isn't learning. And this has been on the market for over 200 days. and she's just telling me that her seller kills every single deal. So it is what it is.
Anybody else want to? Linda, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, and sadly, that is what we are experiencing big time down here in Florida. Is our sellers are just not accepting the softening of this market, and it continues to soften, and their brains cannot catch up to the reality. They see it all around them. We can show them all of the comps, all of the stats. Look at how this home's been on the market 150 days, and show them, what's trending, everything. And they nod, and that's it. And it's really too bad because beautiful homes are languishing. People are just stuck. And we got a big backup here, and it's a real problem. And it's the majority of the sellers that's where they're at. So it's tough. It's very tough here right now.
Anybody else just want to chime in on either side, whether you're representing sellers and you got the multiple offers and how you're handling it? Any other little just color that you want to add to this conversation? Because it's a good one. Trying to balance. And I'm going to continue to fight for be early and be aggressive. Stay on that person. Make sure that you are putting doubt in their mind about any other offer that they might be considering. Experience of the agent on the other side, especially if you're a more experienced agent. The lender that the other side might be using. How qualified your buyers are. How flexible your buyers are. The fact that they already went through with a contractor, whatever advantages that you have, right? We talk about, hey, I'm aware of the hot water heater is not in great shape, neither is the furnace or the roof. We're aware of these things. Linda. Just a lingering hand, Linda, or did you have something else? You're muted. We might have lost Linda. Anybody else on the offer process?
I think for shits and giggles, Steve, we should send you out in the fire once a month. Just I'm gonna give you a buyer, my love.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna sit in that microphone.
I know, and that's why I love this call, because I do try and preface everything from it's been a while since I've been in production and definitely not in a market like this. And even if the market was like this 10 years ago, it's just different. The way that offers are presented, the strategies, you do have some more sophisticated agents now that, they have different ways to get offers accepted. They have different strategies to do it. You can go out there now and use a third party to make your offer cash. Right? So maybe some of you need to look into those companies that'll do that for your clients, for the right client, losing a little bit on the sale of their home to be able to offer cash could be the difference. And that could be what they need to do.
I took the class Friday. We'll go over that another day.
The one where, with one of these
Yeah.
companies that does it?
Yeah, I took NAF Cash. Matina was doing it with Brandon, the NAF Cash. And
Yep.
my opinion only is like you're losing way too much money on the table. Get yourself a slick agent. You got much better deal.
Yeah. I know
you're paying double closing. You're paying double everything. You're giving them 2%. There's
a lot. It's a lot. I know. It is a lot. And it's just, I think it's just another tool in the tool belt, right? Maybe somebody is willing to leave that kind of money on the table, especially for the right house. So just be aware. So I'm glad you took the class. And, I don't know, Chris, is that the type of thing where we want to bring somebody like that on the show and digest it here? Could we do it in 10, 15 minutes if we brought one of those experts on?
I mean, actually, Steve, it's a video they even sent me. I'll send it over to you and you see what you think. And maybe you just want to play it because it's the same with every company. It doesn't matter which one's doing it. It's all the same, So I'll forward you the video that they suggest you give to your client.
Okay.
See what you think.
Yeah. All right, we got time for one more comment. We didn't get to the social share that I had. We'll hopefully try and start with that tomorrow. because I think it's a good one for you guys, especially right now with all the noise that's out there. I think it's important to hear that message. I'll try you one more time, Linda. You didn't have anything to add, correct?
No, my apologies. I didn't lower my hand. Sorry.
Okay. All right. All right, guys. Why don't we'll wrap it up right here. Good discussion today. I love when people get a little bit heated on this stuff because I think it's important. And at the end of the day, I just want you guys to feel like you are putting your clients in the best position to win. As much education to your clients as possible. Ultimately, they've got to make the decisions. As we kind of talked about today, I think a lot of times they're just going to have to learn the hard way. The only people that don't seem to have to do that are repeat purchasers. Your investors. This is the third house they've bought. Like, you start to get it. You start to have learned the lesson. Okay, that is, but even somebody that bought 20 years ago is a completely different market than today. So those types of people, you got to treat them completely different. So, good Monday. Go out and start your week with a bang. I hope you guys, I know a lot of you are probably waiting on offers to get accepted, but go have one more conversation with that listing agent if you can. Get those offers accepted. We will come back and do it again tomorrow. All right. Take care.
Thanks, Steve.